What's up, everybody? Jump into it. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I'm sure it's busy for all you guys. Holiday parties, getting ready for the holidays, wrapping presents, making plans, getting the travel plans ready. It's tough to get the episodes going here. I have a couple of company parties and stuff, so I figure I got some time. Let me jump on and chat with you guys. I tell you where my head is as 2023 kind of comes to an end in the hobby. I got a lot of good compliments the last time I recorded from this little. It's like a comfy chair here. It's a different view. I usually record kind of back there. People like the Christmas tree in the background there. I guess if you look, well enough in the backdrop there, you can really see a couple of cool little functions of the living room there. A little fireplace, which you guys have become accustomed to. Get the bar cart stocked with bourbon there. I'm pretty sure I see a Blanton's on the side. Yeah, and we got a Pokemon box way in the back there that I see that's going to be given to someone at my son's school who watches him after school hours. He's a Pokemon guy, one of the teachers. So try to give tips in cash, and if people like cards, you always give tips in cards. Why the heck not? All right, let's get into it. Forget about the backdrop and all the other fun stuff. It's been a few days since I chatted with you, and last time I came on here with this backdrop, and it was the two sides of the hobby. I got a lot of great feedback on that. It was the story of the Drew Bledsoe cards, and also the story of making content and making sure that you kind of say when you're speaking about something of your own. Hey, I own this card, or hey, I'm long on that position. Sort of like the stock market. I I got a lot of great feedback, but I thought about it myself, and it's funny. I may have done a disservice to you guys because there's not two sides of the hobby. There's a million sides of the hobby. As a matter of fact, everybody who's part of it, everybody who collects, everybody who participates can have their own side, can have their own path, their own journey. And I wanted to come on and chat about that a little bit, tell you kind of where my journey is. Because some of the best DMs I have, some of the best conversations I have with people are folks who are out there just doing their thing, and they see Instagram, oh, I'm doing this, I'm trading up. They see content out there, buy this guy, or, they see content out there, oh, it's all about the PMGs and the golds. And if you don't have that, are you even collecting? And I tell my story of what I'm buying and selling, what my concerns are about the space, where I'm happy about the space, and the best messages that I get from you guys, and keep them coming, please. And if you never sent one and you're thinking about it when you hear this, go ahead and send one. Let's chat. Let's chat about your collection, your journey as well. Um, the best messages I get from people are folks who are thankful to hear that they can do this their own way. They hear, I'm not doing exactly what everybody else is doing, and it allows them to kind of, do their own thing as well, and feel like they're not alone, I guess. So if you're out there and you're collecting, and maybe you're not as happy as you were during the COVID spike, because what you're collecting isn't worth as much, or you don't have as many people in your circle anymore because people are leaving. I've been talking about the mass exodus of the people who came into this hobby in the last couple of years. I've been telling you that that's going to happen, and it really is, and people are leaving in droves. It's going to happen. And, I wanted to talk about that also, but really what got my thought on this one, I hope you guys, get a kick out of this, because it really is almost like an internal struggle with myself as a kid, and then watching it with my own kid. Um, and it starts with the Topps holiday mega boxes, right? And I'm going to take this all over the place. So, don't hear that and be like, oh, I don't care about Topps holiday mega boxes. It's not about the cards or the set. It's about, I think, the psychology behind it, right? And I've bought a bunch of these boxes. I was buying them before Thanksgiving. I actually brought them to Thanksgiving, to a family Thanksgiving function. That there were a bunch of kids, boys and girls, everything from age of 5 or 6 up to high school kids. And I gave those out to the kids on Thanksgiving. I think my LCS charged me $30 a box. You get 10 packs. In each box, there is a relic. It's sort of like a blaster. There's a relic that's got a winter motif, sort of snowflakes. The cards are your regular Topps card with like little metallic snowflakes on them. And randomly inserted are players with a holiday kind of theme. Aaron Judge wearing a Santa hat, or we just got Jose Ramirez. The bat is a candy cane stripe, and the relics also are supposed to be sort of like Santa relics. One kid on Thanksgiving, a cousin, high school kid, pulled a Santa Claus card, like a 52 tops sort of themed Santa, 30, 40, $50 card. Is pretty cool. He didn't care about that. He just thought it was cool to get a Santa card. Of course, my son saw that and now continues to want to open the boxes until he gets a Santa card. There were autographs, I think, basically like one per mega case, like one per 20. We got one, and I think we got a Taj Bradley. I think he's a pitcher for the Rays. I'm sure it's only a couple bucks, but it was cool to pull an auto instead of a relic. But we got a Corbin Carroll relic and cool stuff. And I've probably opened with Ian maybe 20 of these and have some more. Santa's gonna bring some more on Christmas for him to open. And we opened one last week, and Alec Thomas was the relic, and we got some Santa hat cards. I think Jordan Walker or whoever, and I said to Ian, I'm like, you done with these? He goes, no, I love these. These are great. I love pulling the cards with the Santa and the hats, and I love looking for the relics. And I want to maybe find the checklist and see how many of the cards have the Santa hats, and some of them have like light necklaces, like Christmas lights, and they have sleeves of wrapping paper, just like crazy stuff. He's like, I want to get a checklist of all those cards and maybe build the set. And I really had to stop myself for a second from being Cage, the hobby talker. Because what I wanted to say to my son was, buddy, these are cool right now. These are cool right now because we're leading up to Christmas. You're making your Christmas list. We just watched Elf. We just watched A Christmas Story. We're gonna have holidays, Christmas. We're gonna open presents and all that stuff. So this is a cool theme now, but are you really in February or March going to want to be putting together a set of these cards and spending money when it's Easter, or it's the summertime? Are you going to want to have, Aaron Judge Santa hat? Is that really what you want in your collection? But I stopped myself short because who cares? He's having fun. He's having fun with it right now. It's not bankrupting me. We're not, I'm not applying this to like the Tom Brady cards that are out now selling for $25,000 that are cool today, but won't be as cool in 6 months if he continues to sign with every release and they continue to do gimmicks and that kind of stuff. I'm not comparing it to that because somebody could actually get, really fiscally hurt in that situation, right? I'm talking about $30 mega boxes that, open 20 of them at $600 and, we have some fun cards. I had to bite my tongue, and I'm glad I did because it reminded me of one hobby path, one hobby journey. Now, my son is fun with the cards, right? And he kind of personifies a lot of different of you, a lot of different paths in the hobby. People who are listening to this who have different roles in the hobby, who do different things in the hobby. He opens wax solely to get a card in there that we can grade that he can then flip. So he is that. He has that. He'll get graded cards. He'll pull a collection together. He'll save, buy quarterbacks off season and then wait for the quarterbacks to come, go to the show at Hofstra or, Plainview, and then, run those out and sell them to dealers so that he can go buy more wax, or that he can go buy, a baseball player when they're off season and do the same thing again. So he'll do that. He loves doing that. He loves leaving with cash and, being able to buy something else and churn the collection. But he also does like to collect. He collects Pokemon cards. He saves Pokemon cards. And every once in a while, he'll come up with something. He's like, hey, I want to build a set of. And this holiday one is just the recent, version of that. So there's a collector in him too, in addition to flipping and the whole deal. And I'm glad I didn't say anything to him because who cares? If that's what he wants to collect, great. And if it so happens that in March he decides, hey, I don't want to collect the Santa Claus hats anymore, okay, we'll either sell them and put the money towards what he wants to collect then, or we'll put it in a binder, and I'll convince him that as much as he liked them in December, and doesn't like them in May or June, guess what happens? The calendar keeps turning. And when November and December next year comes, he might want to yank those out again. And maybe they do it again next year, and he can pair up his Aaron Judge with a candy cane bat and the Aaron Judge from next year with the Santa hat. And okay, now you're building a year over year collection. It's something that sustains. And it was a real, it shouldn't be such an eye opener for me, right? Because this is a hobby. We collect cards. We're here for the cards. And that youthful kind of innocence of it juxtaposed with the business side that I know is going to happen because I've seen it with him over years. I know that while he loves it now, I already know there will be a time where he won't love it when he's in the pool. He's not going to care about the Santa hat cards, right? So I want to steer him towards, why don't you sell them now? Like we can put them on eBay or we can sell them while other people are looking for these cards to build their sets and maximize your money. But I don't want to do that, right? Because there are lessons to be learned, not just by him, but by me, because he wants more of these cards now. He wants to buy more. He wants to build a set. He wants to collect. And that shouldn't be dissuaded, right? As long as he's not, he's not going under financially for it. You know what I mean? He's not spending $25,000 on this stuff that is not going to, have the value. There's fun in it, right? And that sometimes gets lost, even by me, because I've painted with broad strokes, and I've said, that this hobby has turned into sort of like a casino, and there's nothing valuable here. It's just a slot machine. It's just a, open up that box of national treasures, hope to get something good in that, sell it immediately and roll it, right? I mean, anybody following Golden's, posts on Instagram in the last couple of days, they did their, their standard fare. When there's a big card that hits the hobby, they got somebody on an airplane and there's a box and it's mysterious. What's in the box? Ooh, what's in the box? What's in the box? And it's the Brady Superfractor. So, it's going to PSA to get graded, and I'm sure they're going to sell it. That is what I talk about as the current version of the hobby. Someone is buying Bowman Draft now, not because of this draft class. It's a pretty weak draft class, and the product itself is pretty weak. But you never know. Somebody could turn into something great. That's the fun of Bowman. But Bowman became a gimmick this year from Fanatics with this, Tom Brady card. I'll have a whole nother episode about the Brady card, my thoughts. Maybe I'll spend 2 minutes on it here. But it was a chase. It was somebody pulling the slot machine to get the progressive jackpot so that they can be on Golden's Instagram on a plane with the box, going to PSA, getting it graded, and then the big triple logo man sale, put it back, get money. It's not about the collection. So I see that going on, and I think, all right, that's the hobby. That's the business side of it. I have to remember that there are still people like my son who just want to buy the mega boxes to get cool Aaron Judge with the Santa hat. The Brady, and then I'll talk about the hobby isn't just that. It's not just chase the Bowman Chrome, Brady so that you can sell it and make money on the slot machine, and also just the mega. But there's something else to it. Sports Car Radio in their last thing kind of mentioned it also, and I'll talk about that as well. But on the Brady stuff is interesting. What I would say, if you're looking at that stuff, my thought, 2 minutes. Take a look at Brady's other autos. All right. And you can get some national treasures, flawless. You can get a lot of autos for significantly less than what this one is selling for now. So you have to ask, is this one going to maintain that value because it's something unique, because it's something chased after, or is it just the shiny new toy right now? As we've seen over and over again, the first couple to market sell for the most, and then they settle down, and they settle down a lot. Over the long haul, is a Brady collector going to want to have an on-card, flawless New England Patriots autograph of him from a Super Bowl championship winning year? Or are they going to want to have, I don't want to use the word gimmick because I like what they're doing. It brought a lot of attention to it, so I don't want to crap on it. But what are you gonna rather have, right? Are you gonna want to have one of these, Montreal Expo cards? It's like a gimmicky type of thing. Or you're gonna want to have and look at the difference in price because the ones that are out now, these Bowman drafts, they're selling for significantly more money. And then the next thing is this. Tom's tried this once before, right? They tried, I think it was in like five star maybe or triple threads. I forget. It was in 2014. They tried to do a Brady baseball auto. There was a redemption, and it was never made. The difference is Tom Brady's not playing now. He's not doing his whole regiment where he's, tunnel vision, focused on winning the championships and not eating a carb and doing his thing. Now he's got Fanatics, it's Michael Rubin. He's clearly involved. He made a commercial where he's selling cars. He obviously signed these autographs. He's going to be more involved. To me, if I'm a Brady guy, I don't love that because what it means is that Tom Brady's autograph is something we'll probably see more. And that, if I were somebody who was a collector of Tom Brady's other stuff, the flawless stuff, the stuff that I just mentioned, that I think is a better investment than this Bowman Chrome draft stuff, you could see a world where all of it loses value to some degree. I mean, the best stuff is always going to be the best stuff, but all of it loses value to some degree because it's going to be more plentiful. If this is happening now, wait until Topps Fanatics has football. If they're putting his autograph in baseball, it stands to reason you're probably going to see more of his stuff in football. And if there's more autos out there and he's a chase, does that potentially devalue all of the autos out there because there's more supply of Tom Brady autos? Just my 2 cents on the whole Tom Brady thing. And it leads me to when I said, hey, it's the best. The hobby, right? It's the hobby holiday. It's the end of the year. It's fun to start, thinking about this. Everybody's got their holiday card trees. And I'm going to talk about my sort of, hobby journey 2023, 2024, and hopefully you stay till the end and you get this here. I'm going to do plenty of episodes between now and the end of the year. I may even ramp up the episodes because, I'm going to take a little time off from work. So I'll have more time to think about this stuff and time to chat. Maybe we'll roll some guests in. We'll see. But since there's no wrong way to hobby, right? It doesn't just have to be the flippers and the slot machine pullers and my son with his, mega box from Holiday and just collecting silly stuff. Something that the Sports Car Radio guys said the other day was they were talking about how, when you buy cards and you have a collection, one of the ways that you should think about it, at least this is the way that I interpreted what they were saying, is, people talk about coffin cards. Spinatron was just doing this. It's sort of like when you buy your cards and you have a collection, when you die and your kids get the collection passed down, are they going to look at it and say, wow, dad was an idiot? Or, hey, dad knew what he was doing? And they made the comparison to, meme coins, shit coins, crypto. Is dad out there saying, hey, I'm in crypto and just buying whatever meme token or shit coin came out that week? Or did dad buy Bitcoin, put it away, and, made money and is passing Bitcoin down to us? And they said it with cards also. It was like, is dad passing us a collection full of Trae Young? Or are we getting Brady and Gretzky and Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth and Michael Jordan and Kobe? What's being passed down? And the interesting thing about this is, the hobby is going through some fun stuff, right? And there is no wrong way of doing it. I've said that probably 100, 200 times during all these episodes. No wrong way to do it. So if you are here and you're listening to this and you're collecting, you're doing it right. Right? I'm never telling you what to buy. Now I'm going to tell you what to spend your money on, you name it, because if you're here, you're having fun with it. It's an escape. It's something, for you. That said, it's always a good thing to kind of do that collection audit that I've done so much content on. And it had me thinking kind of the sentence they were saying, hey, if somebody looked at my collection, what would they think? It's actually a very, elementary and good way of doing an analysis of your stuff, right? Would the average person picking it up say, okay, this is a collection. This is somebody who knew what they were doing. Or they pick it up and say, what was going on here? Part of that is one little piece of advice for ending 2023 and going into 2024. I'm not saying that cards are stocks. I'm not saying they are this asset class that you can compare to everything else. But what I will say is this: in stocks, in the market, the most successful people in the market are the ones who become experts in something specific. All right. And let that sink in, right? I'm not saying it one stock specifically, but there are analysts who cover certain areas. There are energy stock analysts who know about the energy sector. There are analysts who do just financials. There are people who are experts in just 3, 4, 5 stocks. And I think that sometimes in the hobby, we're all kind of chasing that shiny thing. I'm guilty of it myself. Last couple of months, I was like, oh, maybe I've been wrong about these kabooms. Maybe I'll start buying kaboom cards. Maybe I'll buy these, and hey, this maybe there's money to be made in buying defensive football player cards. They've just been beaten down so much, and some of those guys are iconic. This guy could be the next Reggie White. You sometimes wind up spreading yourself too thin, spreading your money too thin, and you're never going to be able to educate yourself and become an expert in all of the areas. So I think, one of the cool little things is, if you're a Kobe guy or gal, stick to Kobe. You want to have a side collection, some fun here or there, Kobe, Jordan, if you're a baseball vintage, stick with baseball vintage. It doesn't mean you can't buy something else and have some fun with it. But I think if you're doing it for that, we're talking about the investment side, hey, I'm buying something that I want to have it as an investment. I want to pass it on to my kids, or I want to see it appreciate in value. It's something, long-term hold, store of value, however you want to say it. You're probably better off, sticking with the stuff that you're good at, the stuff that and becoming even better at it. You know what I mean? Finding those, the edge, as they say, in those, in those areas. So I've done this. I've done the audit. I spent 2023. My holiday card tree will be very different than last year. I mean, it may even look more like a Hanukkah bush. I mean, it's a Charlie Brown tree almost. My collection is down to, there may only be a couple of people that I have more than one card for. I think I have 4 Babe Ruths. I think I have 2 Ken Griffey Jr. cards left. I think I have 2 Shaq cards. And everybody else, it's kind of like one Ted Williams, one Tiger Woods. And I tried to, find the card that I thought was the best for each of those players, and there's my collection, right? There's my style, and it's funny because I was somebody who came in here and enjoyed stacking, buying 100 or 200 Tatis Topps PSA 10s at a time, right? That's not what I'm doing anymore. And I will tell you guys, I sold a lot of cards. I am also buying a lot of cards. There are sets that I'm trying to build because there are fun things from the 80s that I don't know anybody else who's collecting, but I'm buying them and building sets and collecting and doing the PSA set registry and having fun on that side of the hobby as well, knowing full well that I probably will lose money on those because it's just not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because, I enjoy, picking off a card, checking that off my own little Excel spreadsheet checklist and getting closer to building a set. And then when that's done, moving on to something else. I started a couple here and there. They're on my watch list. I may even start adding to the old Drew Bledsoe collection again. As crazy as it might seem. But when I post my holiday card tree, it's a trimmed tree, not trimmed as in, altered, trimmed as in the size of it. And there's nothing wrong with that either. And, I implore everybody to do that every couple months, every 6 months, there's no real time to do it. But you have, just like my son, who will change his mind about these holiday cards in March or April or May or June. You may buy something and at some point in time and say, this is what I want to collect. And, it doesn't go your way, or, you lose out on a couple of cards you need for the set to keep building it, or you no longer are a fan, or maybe you thought George Pickens was going to be the guy, and now you've watched him, not block for his teammates and said, you know what, I got to move these cards. I just don't want to be a George Pickens collector anymore. Whatever the reason is, it's part of the fun. It's part of the hobby journey. It's part of, what makes this, I think the best hobby in the world. No wrong way of doing it, as long as you're having fun. And yeah, so I mean, that's the hobby. Enjoy your holiday here. And I'll leave you with this. I found myself slightly surprised and pleasantly surprised by this. All right. I have no sponsor, but I'm going to mention a hobby company here now. Guys, if you hear me and you want to sponsor me, that's great. Just, I'll tell you where to mail the checks. No problem. But I wanted to buy some cards. Santa wanted to buy some cards for my son for Christmas this year. And I have been buying a lot of wax, but just, new stuff when it comes out from my LCS. He'll text me and say, hey, I have these blasters, or this is coming in and this is how much it is. I hadn't gone on Dave and Adams and Blowout in a while. Just hadn't done it. Because when something new comes out, I just get it, and bring in the cash. I went on Dave and Adams and Blowout. Prices for certain things have come down. It's almost like the Brady analysis that we just did. Some of his older stuff you can get for significantly less than the hot product of right now. You want to buy Bowman Draft Chrome, it's going to cost you, no matter where you try to buy it from, because everybody is chasing the Brady jackpot on the slot machine of fanatics. But, and this is not for everybody, but my son really enjoyed opening Revolution basketball. And anybody who's a longtime listener to this is probably smiling right now, because that was the thing. He, like, Chinese New Year, they had like a T-Mall version of it. And, I remember he pulled a Zion and he was so excited. And those are cool cards because, when cards got shiny, this took shiny to like a new shiny level, right? They're just galactic and shiny and astro and stars and all kinds of crazy fractal. And is there a guaranteed auto? No. Is there a guaranteed? No, it doesn't. I went on and I even went back to 17, 18. And it was like 100 and something bucks, I think, like not a crazy price at all for a sealed box. I think it was a Chinese New Year box, which is fun. But it's like Tatum rookie year, maybe he pulls a Tatum. Who knows? But I know he'll have fun opening it. And even if there's nothing in it, it was like, I think it was $139 or $149 for the box, 2017, 2018, like, right before it became crazy mass produced. He's going to love opening that. He didn't ask for it, but I know he's going to be a fan of it. And I'm a fan of the fact that I remember looking at those boxes and they were like $300 during the craziness, and they're not anymore. And I think that's a good thing, because if the entry into the hobby is not going to break the bank, you're going to get less complaining from people like me saying, oh man, I just spent $400 on that box and got $7 worth of cards. All right, well, there is a price point, and it's different for different people. There is a price point where, all right, you're not expecting anything crazy out of it. You're just buying it to collect. You're buying it to open and have some fun. I'm going to a friend's house this weekend, and they have a daughter who, plays either CYL, like rec league, like basketball. And I picked up some WNBA Revolution boxes for them to open as a gift for Christmas. It was like $40. Come on now. That is a good thing. So, take a look. You might be surprised. Some of the wax has, it's at an approachable price. Anyway, I was all over the place today. Haven't spoken to you guys in a while. I hope you guys enjoyed this. The sum and substance of this is a lot of people are leaving. Doesn't mean you have to. I'm not. Have fun with it. Find that lane that you enjoy. If you enjoy flipping cards for profit, great. Make sure you're doing it the right way. Don't spread yourself too thin. Don't try to be in every market, become an expert in kind of one, two, or one specific space, and you'll probably have a better time doing what it is you want to accomplish in the hobby. Um, every once in a while, channel your inner sports card radio and think to yourself, hey, what the hell was dad buying? Think about what someone's going to think about your collection when you pass it on to them. And, if your holiday card tree is a little more bare this year, show it off anyway. There might be 2 cards on there. Who the heck knows? Maybe I'll pick 8 and make a holiday menorah. Enjoy, guys. I'll talk to you soon.